All right, let's talk about one of the most important but often forgotten parts of the IELTS speaking test, your tone. We're going to look at how to go from sounding kind of rehearsed and robotic to totally natural and, yeah, remarkable.
Is this you? You've done all the work. You've learned the vocabulary, you've nailed the grammar, but you still have this nagging feeling that you just sound a bit like a textbook. It's a super common fear, trust me. But today, we are going to fix it.
And here's why this is so critical. The examiners aren't just taking boxes for grammar, they're listening to how you communicate. If your tone is flat, monotone, it can actually pull your score down, especially in pronunciation. It just doesn't sound like real fluent speech. So yeah, your tone is a big deal for your score.
And that brings us to what I call the natural speech problem. For a lot of people, this is the final barrier, the last thing standing between them and the score they really want. And look, it totally makes sense, right? We spend all this time drilling vocabulary and perfecting our sentences, but we forget about the music of the language. And that music, that natural, easy sound, is exactly what tells the examiner that you can actually use English, not just recite it from memory. So how do we find that music? Well, the answer is all about mastering your tone. But what does that even mean? Let's break it down into something really simple. Just think of tone as the personality of your voice. This isn't about having a perfect accent, not at all. It's about using those natural ups and downs in your voice, the rhythm of your sentences, and the emotion behind your words. It's what makes your answer sound genuine, like you just thought of it, instead of something you memorized last week. Let's look at this comparison, because it really says it all. Let me just show you. A robotic answer to a question might sound like this. I like rock music. Ugh, flat, right? No energy. But a natural answer, that sounds more like this. I really enjoy listening to rock music. You can hear the difference, can't you? The second one has life, it has personality, and that's exactly what we're aiming for. Okay, so let's get practical. How do we do this? First up, I want to give you what I call your interjection toolkit. These are tiny little words that make a huge impact on how natural you sound. First up, this little gem. Hear how I pause there? It's a thinking sound. This is such a great little hack. Instead of just sitting there in silence, which can feel really awkward, starting your answer with, well, gives you a second to breathe and organize your thoughts. It makes you sound thoughtful, not slow. All right, next in our toolkit is another classic. Dropping a into your sentence just instantly makes it more friendly. It's like you're letting the examiner in on a shared idea. It turns a formal test answer into a mini conversation. And what about this one? Actually, it has a little bit of surprise in it, doesn't it? This word is fantastic because it makes your answer feel more spontaneous. It's like you've just had a new idea pop into your head. Something like, I usually prefer movies, but actually, I read a really great book last month. It just adds a nice little twist. So here's a quick look at our toolkit. Now, a word of warning, the goal is not to stuff every sentence with these. Oh no, just pick one or two that feel natural to you and start practicing with them. Well, and to be honest, are probably the easiest ones to start with. Okay, moving on to our second big tool. We've talked about these little words, but now let's zoom out and look at the rhythm of a whole sentence. This is where we really find the music of English. So here's the secret to English rhythm, and it's actually pretty simple. We don't say every single word with the same force. We put the stress on the important message words. The nouns, the verbs, the things that carry the meaning. Listen, I went to the store to buy some milk. See how went, store, and milk stand out? They're a bit louder, a bit longer. Getting this down is an absolute game changer for your fluency. So we've got our interjections, and we know about sentence stress. Now this is the fun part. Let's see what happens when we put it all together in a real before and after example. Okay, here's a super typical question you might get in part 1 of the test. Let's hear 2 different ways to answer it. First, the before answer. Get ready. I like rock music. It is energetic. I listen to it when I work. The information is fine, but there's just no personality there. It's completely flat. Okay, now listen to the after version. Oh, that's a great question. Well, to be honest, I'm a huge fan of rock music. It's just so energetic, which is perfect for when I'm working. The difference is night and day, right? The second answer uses those little interjections. And it puts the stress on that key word, energetic. It's not just an answer anymore, it's a real piece of conversation. That is what examiners love to hear. And you know what the best part is? You only need to use one or two of these techniques in each answer to totally transform how you sound. You really don't have to overdo it. Just a little sprinkle of this stuff will make you sound so much more confident and natural. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? The IELTS speaking test isn't about being a perfect English robot. It's about showing the examiner that you can communicate like a real person. These simple tools don't just help your score, they help you sound more like, well, you. They let your personality come through. So, are you ready to get started?